Watch!
What up?
There it is.
First.
We're here. What? You were first?
I
Probably. I don't know.
Never
Probably.
first. Hey, Matt, how you doing? Good evening. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. I hope everyone's having a great night. Glad to see everyone here. I've had a week.
Word.
Such that I poured myself a bottle of bourbon. I'm sorry.
If you find us annoying in an hour or two, that means you're not drinking enough. Catch up, folks.
Yes.
Not our fault.
Just crazy couple of weeks work, and next week is going to be hell week with work, so I decided to tie one on tonight. That and we got some great stuff to talk about tonight. DM Blackwall's here. We'll get him in just a minute here because we got some news. First, it was Gary's birthday this week, so happy birthday, Gary.
Birthday. Thanks.
He's 66 years young.
I'm old as shit. No, hey, actually, on the topic of my birthday, all we do is talk about games here, right? That's the whole thing. We don't want to do politics. We don't want to do this or that. Occasionally it happens, but we talk about games. And on my birthday, I got the best message from my cousin Rob. And I don't know if he's watching or not. I told him we had a show, but it was really great. Me and Rob were like best friends when we were kids. And then, after high school, we kind of, he went into the military and I went into whatever the fuck it was I was doing at the time. But he sent me a message and I was like, yeah, man, I kind of got this little show I'm doing, I'm doing a lot of stuff with games and everything. And he says, I'm running D&D for my kids. And Rob was the guy that we played D&D, we played Shadowrun, we played Star Wars, and he may be getting an invite to Chubby's game. We'll see. I'm going to clear it with Chubby. But it was a great birthday. Thank you guys. I actually had people tell me happy birthday. So thank you guys very much. And that's all I got, man. I got no real news because I don't care. What's going on in the game space, Matt? What's the controversy?
I don't have anything new controversial. I do want to actually say I'm trying to I'd love to have Tenkar, Joe the lawyer, and Joe Block on because I sort of feel like those three, because they've been kind of working together, piggybacking off of each other with their channels. They really are becoming sort of like the standard bearers for the OSR, and not for nothing, Tenkar's videos have just been spot on.
Bro,
I absolutely love
leveled
them.
up somehow.
I know
he has leveled
like
up.
Before it was like, oh, it's Tenkar.
Great for him.
Yeah. If go watch those videos, I think they're fantastic. I wanted to give a shout out to Dan Tesh. He's been running Hyperborea on Erudite DM's channel Monday night stream. We're not going to have it this Monday because apparently he's got this thing called the job and Dan's got to go do it. But Dan did a fantastic job. It was the first time I gamed with him as a DM. I've been enjoying him as a player, right? But having him as a game master was just phenomenal. He knows Hyperborea back and forwards, and it was just like, and he knows this module thing. It was great.
Was that the live stream?
Yeah,
I think I caught a little bit of it and then just got busy with shit. So.
Yeah, fantastic. I don't know if Dan's going to be here tonight in chat because I know
Dan's the final arbiter.
I guess he's got a different name now, or maybe
make it hurt, Dan. Make it hurt.
But good. Thanks, Dan. You're doing a great job. Second big thing of news is The Living Darkness. Okay, I gotta mirror my screen. I'll mess with that later. But The Living Darkness, Volume 1 is now print on demand. Oh, I feel like Frodo at the end of the Lord of the Rings. Like it's over. So many mistakes and obstacles and bullshit, but it's there. I'm happy with it. Again, I want to shout out to Bacon, Better with Bacon. He was my layout guy, helped get it over the finish line. And I wouldn't have been able to do it without him. I just want to say it's been 24 hours and I've already sold like 10, 12 copies. So I'm really happy. And I haven't done any promotion. So thank you for those who've purchased it. Go check it out. It's drive through. There, that's my news.
Hey, one last thing before we bring Todd on. You had mentioned that Bacon had done all your layout and everything. Bacon, I ain't seen you in a while. I know you're busy and life is what it is, but we miss you, bro.
Yeah.
You need to come around a little bit more when you have time. All right. Anyhow, all right. So we have a guest tonight.
Let's hit the super chat
go.
real quick. Disco, good to see you, brother. $5. Thank you, sir. Yard dog brothers. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'll do it.
You do it. You do it. Oh, he's got to drink first. He's got to get into character.
Yard dog brothers and sword sisters. Happy fucking beat day, Garrett. Crazy weekend, same day. Rocket fuel is fully engaged. Looking forward to the show. Entertain me.
Apparently, Disco is
that was worth $10, Disco. Just so you know.
Oh yeah. Thank you, Disco. Good to see you. Good to see everybody in chat. We're happy to have you here, and I hope you have some questions about dropship, sci-fi gaming, and whatnot with our guest, DM Blackwall.
Hey guys.
Also known
Welcome,
as Todd.
Welcome.
What's up?
You know him as DM Blackwell. To us, he's Todd. Hey, Todd, how's it going, man?
It's good. Good to see you guys. Looking forward to seeing you in person in a few weeks.
Absolutely. North Texas is going to be off the hook. I am so excited. I'm great, man.
I'm like last year. I'm always nervous when I do something new, right? And like, so I was like, I don't know what this is going to be like, blah, blah, blah. I had a blast last year. We had no idea what we were doing. Now it's a different level of like, okay, now we kind of know what we're doing. Like, did I pick the right game? Should I be doing this? I hope I get to talk to this person, that person, this person. So like, I actually have a plan. I don't know how I feel about that, but I'm looking forward to seeing you, man.
I refuse to make a plan. I'm signed up for one game, but I know that I will be able to game all day and all night long if I want to.
Disco Barbarian just sent us another $5 to say paid in full.
I know. I love you, man.
And hi, Jeff. I see you there in chat. I wanted to say also, just I hope you guys got the message. Chubby and the Black Lodge Games guys indicated they're up for a rematch.
I have been told, and here's the thing. Here's what I've decided, okay? Two things. One, the night that they decide to do this, somebody warned me ahead of time so I don't take my night meds.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was having Todd was sitting next to me. It was like 9 o'clock. I had taken my meds. I had like 3 drinks. I'm like, Todd, you got to read this, dude. I can't fucking see straight. Todd was reading my cards for like, I was so happy to play, but I was so undeserving of even being conscious, much less at that table.
I think
just give me advance notice.
I think whenever we play it, we all have to gang up on Chubby because he was sort of like the dark horse. He was sneakily saving up, stockpiling all his nuclear weapons.
He's that dude that thinks if he's just real quiet, nobody will notice him. Nah, fuck that. I know.
Now, chat. You see what he said?
Oh, no. Oh, there he is. Yep. My subs are in the water. I'm prepared to end the world if you guys even fucking blink. Well, we see you. I know your game, sir. So that
no voices this year.
Oh yeah,
No, we can do voices, but fucking Brian. I love you, Brian. God damn.
The moment Brian started doing that, he put a target on himself. So
yeah.
Kill him first. All right, we can talk in bullshit all night long, but we have serious business to discuss.
Sure.
DM Blackwall, you have been working for the past year. You've been working on the past year on Dropship, your military sci-fi game. What's that?
Past 5 years.
Past
5 years. Well, okay. Last year was Horde Wars, right? Or year before last was Horde Wars, and we were doing that. But publicly, Dropship is like, it's happening right now. So a few questions I've had. Thank you very much, Todd. I was able to look at the PDF for a little while. Same system as Horde Wars.
Same core rules. Two major exceptions, I guess. One being that how durable objects are treated is a little different because of the genre. because obviously a medieval castle should be something that would take months to break through the walls, right? Because that's what happened in reality in most cases in a medieval setting. But if you have plasma weapons and high explosives, probably not so much. So those rules were adjusted, and that relates to the use of terms like damage threshold and damage resistance or damage reduction. I have a misspoke, damage reduction. But that's a fairly minor change and only applies if you're trying basically to like break buildings or blow up tanks. Yeah.
Right on. So anybody that has played Horde Wars in the past, it's not going to be taxing. You're pretty much going to be able to start playing pretty quick. Correct?
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to talk over you. Just in case no one has played Horde Wars, can you just sort of describe the mechanics, the basic?
I mean, in brief.
Yeah. Well, as brief as you can.
In brief, it's a D12 roll equal or over system. That's the simplest way to think about it. We've done a lot of things compared to something like D&D or Pathfinder to speed up gameplay, including how turn order works, how kind of the ability to react in combat works, and also in terms of character creation. You actually pick 2 careers, put them together, and that builds your character. You get the starting abilities from both careers, and then as your character gets more powerful, you can choose to advance in either career or potentially in your species. So hopefully that's
pretty
straightforward enough.
Familiar. And real quick, for people who haven't played Horde Wars and they hear it's a D12 equal or over, that's really cool because you get a lot of crits.
Yeah.
And that's where your special stuff comes in. So that is really it. Me, Matt, and DM Cloaker were able to play a game with Todd last year of Horde Wars.
Yeah,
and I had read over the book, and I think Rob Alderman was in that game too, doing
Yes.
everything he could to die as quick as possible.
He did have a death wish. Yes, his character.
Absolutely. I think he had somewhere to be. All
No,
I
he
remember him
didn't.
saying, "Oh no, that's
Rob
just
just plays that way."
That's just fucking Rob." He's like, "Can I jump?" So, but one thing I will say is that Horde Wars was really, I think it's one of those games, one of those great games where as a player, like I stepped in, I kind of knew the core mechanic. I mean, I got it, and I was able to play and get going real quick. If you've got a good DM, it's a really easy game to jump into. I will say that. And it was dynamic and fun, and a lot of stuff was happening. So I do want to ask though, after playing that and kind of looking over Horde Wars and Dropship, what do you think your biggest, as far as games go, what was your influence when creating this game? Because I feel 4th edition gets a bad rap from people. I felt a little bit of 4th edition in there. I felt a little bit of some other things. What are your influences for all this? What are you putting together?
Like design wise, I mean,
design or
because the genres, I think, at least for both, are pretty obvious, right? So for Horde Wars, you're talking medieval fantasy, and fantasy somewhat more realistic than some of the more high fantasy versions, somewhat more grim. And then as far as Dropship, you're dealing with military sci-fi specifically. Every character is in the military when you start. And so that's the, like, genre-wise, pretty straightforward. Design-wise, actually just a lot of trial and error. And then Nate and I have also read and run and played a lot of different systems. I've also helped done some design work on other systems. And so I would say fourth edition we would probably have the least influence from, because we deliberately did not play it.
Well, I will tell you that probably the reason I think that is because I haven't played what you guys played, but it was a very, like, it was one of the more satisfying maps and miniatures games I've been a part of.
And I actually, Yeah,
which I
we've
think
talked.
is where I made the association.
Yeah,
So,
that Gary and I have actually talked about this too. Like I'm a theater of the mind guy. Like someone wants to play with a virtual tabletop, I just like, you know, and playing Horde Wars at North Texas Con with you, sitting down and picking my miniature and putting it on the map. I was like, okay, let's see what happens. You know,
Yeah.
I like Todd. Let's see how this game goes. And by the end of it, I was like laughing, enjoying it, like getting excited. And that was very rare for me to enjoy something like where it's like, it seems, I don't want to say miniature heavy, because I know you designed this to be both theater of the mind or miniatures, but like it really worked well for me as a miniatures game.
it's
And that's why I
gonna
think we were like, is Todd a 4th edition guy?
yeah.
The
And I
first,
think the reason that happens is because a lot of games, like, let's face it, 5e, I think, is kind of works better with the map and minis, but it slows it down and makes it suck and yada yada. And there are some games that they do work better with minis, but not a lot of them.
Yeah.
And I really felt like with your game, where Theater of the Mind would have been totally possible, I was like, you know what? I feel like it's better. This is like one of the few games where I'm like, where's the minis? Where's the maps?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So,
No, I run it about half and half. So in person, online, I run about half the time with maps or miniatures, about half not. Online, typically not, simply because, and in person, I typically use them, simply because I want to manage a virtual tabletop about as much as I want to get a skin infection. It's not. I'm not into it.
I hear you. I hear you.
Amen, brother. Amen.
Now, if someone else wants to run it, and then I run the game and they manage the tabletop, that's a different story.
Yeah.
So I've done that a time or two.
Yeah,
but.
I have found that I used to be like, I hate VTTs. As a player, I really don't care. You want to use a VTT, use a VTT.
Yeah.
As a dungeon master or ref, oh, I don't want to mess with it.
Oh, we got a question from Chubby.
Yeah.
Hey, we got.
Tell us. Oh, I also have some super chats I got to get to. All right, so Chubby, tell us how non-combat skills work in Horde Wars and Dropship.
So if you mean typically it takes you an action to use a skill, and the skill is your attempt to interact with the world. Our attributes basically serve as saving throws, reactions to what's happening to you. Like a senses attribute would be like your ability to resist being stunned, or maybe your ability to resist being blinded, or whereas willpower would be like resisting mind control. And then the skills, though, are independent of the attributes and are you doing stuff in the world, attacking things or casting spells or picking locks or that sort of thing. And it's typically target number equal the target or roll over to succeed. In some cases, you might get a more complex skill check where you need multiple successes to do the thing you're trying to achieve. And if what you're trying is not possible, the game master is to inform you that that's not possible. Do not roll, and then give you the opportunity to make another choice. And if you're stubborn, the game master should simply move on, and not waste everybody else's time.
Real quick, that's really nice because I'm in an Axe 2 game with Chubby, and I'm convinced if I tried to do stupid shit for 2 days of game time, he would let me do it and never tell me. Thanks, Todd.
If it's not possible, like for example, I want to jump a mile, you can't. You're a human. That's not a thing you can do, unless maybe in 0G in a spacesuit. Sure, then it's not going to be instantaneous.
Yep. So,
well, real quick, let me get these super chats. So we got $1 from Mercurius. Thank you, sir. Really appreciate it. And then $2 from Tim. Describe the mechanic to dropship to us. You've been kind of doing that. How can you differentiate though? What is like maybe like the serious distinction from Horde Wars and dropship? I know you talked a little bit about like durability and whatnot, but like what talk about spaceships, man. Like
So obviously, because of the genre, military sci-fi, you're dealing you're dealing with two levels of combat. One is personal scale, right? Character scale combat, where you're commanding 1 or 2 characters and fighting on battlefields or boarding enemy ships or driving around in tanks or whatever it might be. The other level of combat is space combat, where you're fighting against enemy fighters and carriers and destroyers and whatnot. And so, yeah, we have a full space combat system in there, as well as kind of a backdrop of a intergalactic war where the 6 different alien factions are basically carving up human space, like a bunch of Europeans carving up Africa. And the humans don't like this very much. And we are in the process of losing that war. And unless the players are able to turn that around, we will lose. It's really just a matter of time. So the stage is set where they need heroes, where they need effective soldiers to win a lot of battles.
Wow, that actually dovetails quickly. One of the questions I had after reading the review copy you sent us, and thank you, by the way. Why human centric? Because you have different versions of humanity. I love the Belters, the guys who are growing up in space and all that stuff. That kind of like tickles the Expanse fan in me. Belter for life. So human centric, like, was that like, I understand like the sort of like the backstory, but like, what was the influence? What was the inspiration there?
Actually, that was just playtesting. We actually have 6 or 7 different playable alien species that we tried out, and they work mechanically. And as long as there's one in the party, it's fine. The problem is when you get 2 or more, party cohesion tends to break down for whatever reason. We ran playtests with over 100 playtesters, I think almost 200 with Dropship over the last 5 years. And we just found that if the majority of the party or the entire party is human or some variety of human, that the party unity tends to not be an issue. Whereas when we are injecting a bunch of aliens from different species into that same group of even the same players, they suddenly can't get along. They suddenly don't unite in strategy or in goal or long-term goals.
So
why doesn't actually matter. It just kept happening.
It's what you're saying is Babylon 5 and Star Trek, well, more like Star Trek, is a lie.
No, because Star Trek only has a couple alien characters compared to most of human. But I actually agree with that. Hang on, Matt. We don't need to argue yet.
I'm not even.
We don't need to get started yet.
Okay, all right.
I'm anyway, go ahead, Matt.
I was just going to say, I think that's actually quite interesting, and it ties into like the concept. So did the concept of like doing a military sci-fi game then therefore come after all these play testing? Like were you trying to, or no, you wanted to do military sci-fi right from the get-go?
Yep.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Can I ask why?
We feel it hasn't been done well.
Say that again?
We feel it has not been done well.
I would actually agree with you, because like a lot of the sci-fi I've seen, like sci-fi games out there, it's usually like this Star Trek or Babylon 5. Everybody's like part of a race and they're like somehow banded together for some reason, and you're off exploring and doing whatever.
It's trading, like Traveler.
Yeah, and that's why one of the, I guess, philosophical differences that Dropship presents that actually stood out to me is that it's like, this is military, like you are out fighting aliens, alien, and like as you put it as you were sort of describing the implied setting, aliens who are carving up space and leaving you out. Like that's pretty bold, man. Like I think that's really cool. I do think that's really cool.
And there is a setting chapter in the back for those who are wondering. So there is a good 30 or 40 scenarios and different locations you can go to, a couple star maps of a couple of sectors. And then there's procedural generation for making your own solar systems and for filling out certain parts of those maps. Some of them are detailed for you. Certain ones are meant for you to roll as you get there. because information and spaceships do not travel instantaneously. It takes months to travel from star system to star system, and it takes weeks for a message to get from star system to star system, which means there is constant fog of war.
Right.
Well, I'll tell you why why I like the military setting is that I find if you are not doing a dedicated like dungeon crawl or sandbox hex crawl, you need to give your players a mission. It gives them something to do without them having to think about it too much. Go kill the bad guys. They're over here. So I really, I appreciate that you took on that specific part of the sci-fi genre.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good way. You know, and they are different. There is a difference between playing a role-playing game where you're in the depths of a dungeon fighting monsters and a game where you've got fucking starships that can, you know, blast the shit out of 2 continents in 4 turns. I mean, they just don't work the same. And I just think military is great because there's always a direction that the characters are pointed.
Yeah.
So I think that was a really good idea. And I'm curious, you know, like in Horde Wars, you kind of, as you leveled up, you got troops and, you know, you had followers and it became like this big thing. Does it follow the same sort of scaling in dropship?
By nature of your rank. Yeah. If you have officers in your party, you will wind up commanding larger and larger forces, assuming you survive.
Assuming you survive.
and the same is true for NCOs, that they'll get more and more of the non-coms who are actually under them. And so that I think the players have a lot of fun with. Also, we found that that experienced and inexperienced role players both will tend to throw themselves into a military structure pretty easily, because it's familiar, even if only from movies. Yep. And a lot of the we did simplify the command structure so that there's basically each service branch has 12 ranks. You could do more, but we deliberately did not. And a few of the ex-military guys who were playtesting with us expressed appreciation for that, actually, because there are a few too many versions of sergeant and of petty officer in the respective branches.
Yeah. Well, especially when you have guys like me, like, hey, what outranks what? Don't fucking know. Have no idea
And you do provide a nice chart so people can
that is a nice chart. Yeah.
I know. I'm working on putting together a supers game that takes place in World War II. And I actually found myself talking to ChatGPT. I'm like, all right, how is a platoon actually structured? Okay, what is a battalion? What goes into that? You know, what are these ranks? You know, and then of course I'm taking whatever ChatGPT says and double checking. But so that I thought that was really nice addition. We got a question from the chat, Mr. Squarepeg. Got a question. How fast is it to make a character in dropship? I know the answer to this because I played Horde Wars, but I'll let you answer because it's your
Well, it depends. You could download some sample characters right from our website, and then it would take you the speed of your downloads. Otherwise, if you want to make your own character, probably 10 to 15 minutes. And a bit faster if you write quickly or use copy and paste.
Hey, I'm sorry, guys. I'm just going to ask the audience if we're having some technical issues, because on my playback, are we still online, guys?
I think we are.
Okay.
I can check pretty quickly.
Yeah.
We're still on.
Okay. I'm just looking at my playback, and for whatever reason, it's not happening. My bad. Didn't mean to interrupt the show. Y'all have fun.
Yeah, no, that's cool. Like I said, we might have some technical issues with my computer being the way it's been. So anyway, but yeah, no, I thought character generation was pretty quick and straightforward. As I said when we talked about Horde Wars, I like the idea that you basically take 2 careers and mash them together, and you can kind of customize, you know, what you want your character concept to be and how it expresses itself mechanically. And there are a lot of career paths. Well, I shouldn't say paths, but a lot of careers to choose from. So there is a lot of possibility when it comes to the combinations. In fact, I actually think it's a better in dropship, if I were to be honest with you, like in terms of like the differences between the classes and what you can do. And it certainly appeals to it certainly appeals to the that game within the game mentality, right? Like that a lot of especially power gamers have, right? Like, how can I maximize? Now they have like all these different possibilities to play around with. Well, I'm going to see what this does with this, this career does with this career, and how to maximize this. And so there's even that, and it appeals. I think it will appeal to players who are into that sort of thing. That's something I noticed.
I think so,
and I appreciated. Okay, sorry, I'm just checking. I'm paranoid now that Gary mentioned that about.
We've got assurance from the chat.
Okay.
I see Tim Griffin wants to know, if we had to describe a game in dropship, how would you describe it? Well, depending on if you're playing a team of specialists or if you're playing a Navy or Marine focused game, basically you ship out and then typically to find out the mission on the way. In most cases, you're going to be receiving sealed orders, and this is because of alien spies. Occasionally, you'll know the mission before you actually leave port, and then you are basically attacking enemy facilities, engaging enemy fleets, boarding enemy ships, rescuing scientists, searching for survivors from crashed ships, doing prison breaks, doing planetary invasions, literally kidnapping an enemy emperor, all kinds of stuff. There are 42 to 50, depending on how you count, different mission types between the Navy and the Marines. Oh. And there are literally thousands of different combinations of factors that you can find. Actually, probably closer to 100,000 between the different planet types, the different beasts and monsters that you can encounter on certain missions, and the different amounts of enemy opposition you could face. There's quite a bit there as far as procedural generation, and then we do have, as I mentioned, a setting chapter, and then a sample adventure, and sample space station, and some sample ships and crews and stuff. And then in terms of stat blocks, there's about 250 stat blocks in the book, split between starships, enemy troops, and beasts and monsters.
And then we have
another stuff to fight.
We have another question from Shellback Bow. Thank you, sir, for your question. How compatible is dropship with 1E AD&D?
Well, the setting and the starship generation would be, or the star system generation would be fine. You could port over just the starship rules if you wanted to just add a way to use starships in 1E D&D. But the core game is a D12 based game, so in that sense, it's not particularly compatible because you're playing a very different speed of play. Also, in dropship, just like in Horde Wars, characters are typically getting 2 attacks per turn, sometimes more. And so 1E, even if you did a dice conversion, the monsters and characters would struggle to fight each other effectively because of that difference in action economy. Hopefully it answered your question.
Sorry, guys. I was having issues. I'm back. I hope I'm better. My bad.
You sound a little different. As your mic and audio need to be.
Do I sound different? Fuck. Guys, I might have to I apologize. I'll be back.
Well, as the saying goes, we got to put this on a shirt. It wouldn't be the second watch if we didn't have technical issues. Well, I want to like kind of focus more on your. Now I'm getting an echo from Gary. I think it is.
That's from Gary. Yep.
Yeah. All right, there we go. Focus more on like your implied setting that you've. I call it the implied setting, but like, what was kind of going, inspiring you in your design choices and whatnot. I love the fact that humanity's back up against the wall. I love that it's a military game, military sci-fi. And I know you have some aliens in there.
We do.
Which I just saw a comment from Chubby. Sorry. Which alien is there like a big bad? Is there an alien that like is like the worst of the worst, or are they all just equally just all fighting for the same piece of pie and humanity is just getting the short end of the stick?
Most of that second thing. I would say the hierarchy is probably the worst, not in that each species in it is particularly terrible, but their leaders are basically space demons. So that's not good. Obviously.
Yeah.
Like possessing entities that have that can harm you or take over your body and are being worshipped as demigods by the other species under them in the hierarchy. So they're probably the worst. The Inlari are pretty awful too. They're basically grays, and they have some telepathic powers, which is disconcerting in and of itself. But they also have the rather unfortunate habit of eating other characters and animals' eyeballs. They view this as a delicacy, which, if you like seeing things, might be a problem for you.
Sure. Tim Griffin, can you solo dropship? Solo's been a big thing.
It's certainly easier than Horde Wars in that there's more procedural generation for the different missions. But the intent is that you have a game master and certainly at least one player. But it would much better for you to play in a traditional manner with a group of your friends. And if you don't have friends, to make friends.
Yeah.
And play with them. Go meet some strangers, become friends.
Yeah.
I would encourage that long term. Short term, yes, you could adapt it for solo play easier than Horde Wars because of the fairly robust generation system for the opponents, for their stat blocks as well. Like they're ready to go, so you don't have to make a lot of decisions there. You can just kind of roll and go, okay, so there's an enemy platoon. Here's what their normal light infantry platoon would consist of. Cool. We encourage game masters, though, to make decisions and to make like specialized enemy units or to vary equipment or to design their own stat blocks. And obviously, if you're soloing it, you're going to be lacking some of that, or at least it won't surprise you because you'll be the game master and the player.
Right. Well, not to go off on a tangent, but yeah, I solo gaming has been kind of a thing. A lot of people talk about it, but at the end of the day, I sort of feel like the hobby is a communal activity. And I could never, and this is not a slight against solo gamers at all. But when I sit down to roll nerd dice I want to roll nerd dice with my friends or with a group and become friends, like you said, Yeah. So, but on that note, have you ever thought about taking what you've been working on with like that core D12 system and maybe make a solo game? Is that something you thought about or not at all?
No, that's not that I haven't thought about it. It's that I think it's the opposite of what you should do as a general rule. There are exceptions. If you are stuck in Antarctica monitoring a base by yourself, fair enough.
Yeah. Fair enough.
But if you are able to move around and meet other people, especially in this age of increased isolation, particularly in the West, you should do that. It's good to make acquaintances and make friendships. And something that I think is practiced less and less, especially among the young.
I would agree with you on that. It's something I watch kind of closely with my son. Like he's really into video games and getting and a lot of like video games that are played online with other people. So far it's been okay because it's his friends at school, and then they use like a cell phone on a group chat, group call. So, but that is something I've been watching, and you're absolutely 100% right. It's a whole new animal, this internet thing. It's very, very new still in the grand scheme of things. There was a question from the chat. Let's see. There's a couple. I just found a second one. Okay. Is there psionics, key, or magic dropship?
Yeah, there's a psychic and a psion, which is a telekinesis powers guy and a kind of telepathy powers guy, clairvoyance guy. So yeah, there is some psionics.
Okay, and is it like I didn't get a sense of this from my first read through. Is psionics prevalent in the setting, or is it sort of like this sort of like weird mutation or something?
So it's 2 of the 24 careers. So there's some of it, 8, what is that, 8% roughly. And as far as the aliens go, there are 2 or 3 factions that lean into it significantly more than the others. Some of them have basically none, and
Sure.
others like the Inlari, their leadership is basically all psychics or all
Right.
science.
Right.
And so you get some variance there, but yeah, there is some of that. And then I did see another one about VTT support.
Yep, that was
In
the
the
next one.
sense of like providing maps and stuff. We've got one up on the website you can download and use in a VTT today if you want. But in the sense of like actively uploading files or something, no, I don't want to do that. I'm not interested in running a VTT. Or if you want to do that, you can come talk to me, and we can talk about if someone else wants to do that sort of thing. But we do have a few of our customers who are actively doing that with Horde Wars, where they are creating VTT support, typically with Foundry, I think. And I've seen some of the results, and those look pretty good. I've played with them a couple of times using that. It is just not something that I personally like to need to manage.
It's another. It's like a secondary hobby.
Yeah.
That's been coming up a lot on this show, is all the secondary hobbies surrounding gaming right now. So that I understand. And VTTs, and also with your game, like a lot of times you're dealing with a lot of troops and a lot of pieces. And I can imagine it's probably just not fun on a VTT,
Yeah, well, and it's going to be better. It's going to be better if you're going to be playing this with some kind of display. It's going to be better to be physically displaying it than on a screen, because then you're able to add. One, you're able to spend time with your friends in person, right? But 2, you're able to display things in a way that VTTs don't handle well, from what I've seen so far, which is basically a 2.5D style of display, where important or key pieces on the battlefield are actually 3-dimensional, and where you also have flat 2-dimensional components as well. If you guys have seen me do that a little bit in person in North Texas. Some of the guys who've come over to my place have seen more detailed versions. But that style really helps players understand what's going on in the situation, and also what objects are probably important.
Right.
And yeah, so I guess that's what I would say about that. I have done some gaming with like, what's it called? Owlbear Rodeo or something.
Oh yeah, Owlbear Rodeo. Yeah, that one was heralded as supposed to be like this real easy, and then they updated it, and it was no longer intuitive. I was so mad. I'm like, okay, that's it. I'm done. But anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
But yeah, so so I've played around a bit with that kind of stuff. Like I've played it. I've played some other games with VTTs, and it's not something I'm super interested in. But yeah, when we're dealing with fights, we're usually dealing with at least with a squad of enemy troops, so 5-6 guys plus, up to a full company, which would be something like 100 to 130 guys.
Wow.
So
That
that's a lot of management on a VTT.
yes, that is a lot of management on a VTT. Hey, I
Real
am
quick.
curious. Oh, go ahead, Matt.
Real quick, we got a super chat from Agile Monk. Thank you, sir. Good to see you. $9.99. I believe, like Advanced Horde Wars, Blackwall, and from a little he shared with me, has a solid winner here in Dropship. I recommend it to those wondering. Yeah, I love the military sci-fi. I agree, Agile Monk. Actually, thank you for the super chat. Anyway, go ahead, Gary.
Was I going to say something? Oh yeah, I was going to ask something.
Yeah, you were.
With your campaign, with the game being a military sci-fi game, would that cover things like special units and is it always going to be big, or could you have like a Delta Force kind of thing happening? Like what? And I don't mind this at all because I think, like, for example, Axe is designed for you to be, adventure, conqueror, king. That's just the game. But is your game strictly sort of like we're in a unit, we're soldiers, or is there some sort of covert special missions, whatever? Could you do that?
So I don't know that I understand the question, because covert operations are part of the military.
Well, I understand that, but we're talking about troops and stuff. Could you have like a spy? Could you do a Yes. Could you do a sort of like a an undercover, we're going in to sabotage this place sort of role-playing game?
Yeah, we literally have that as some of the missions.
Absolutely great. And the reason I ask is because I feel like we were giving the impression that this was solely a game about soldiers and commanders and everything.
Oh, it is.
It is about that.
But infiltrating behind enemy lines and killing enemies is definitely something soldiers have done. Sabotage, destroying enemy infrastructure, bombing factories, supporting resistance movements, even trying to overthrow enemy governments. This is, yes.
Okay. Awesome. It's the whole bit. It's not just a bunch of troops shooting at each other.
Yeah. That's the thing again. That stuck out with me reading the review copy. If you're looking for a sci-fi game where you boldly go where no man has gone before, while you're on a 5-year mission to seek out new life, new civilizations, you're not going to want to play Dropship. If you want to go and kill those civilizations, Dropship is going to be for you.
If you want to go to foreign lands and meet new and interesting people and kill them all, play Dropship.
No, I was like, I know this probably wasn't like a direct inspiration, but I was getting some like Space Marine vibes at one point. I'm like, yeah, I can see where this could be like really fun, just to lean into that Earth first. Let's do this kind of thing. And I appreciate that, because again, it's I mean, we just had last week on, we had Barry the Gen X GM, and he's a big Star Trek guy, very different take on sci-fi, right? And that's sort of like sci-fi drama and that kind of like thing going on there. So this is different, and I do appreciate that. I want to actually go,
Tim. Thank you. Sorry.
Oh, what? I need to. Okay. Anyway. Oh, he's doing his part. Okay, I get it. Sorry, I'm like a couple drinks in already.
Starship Troopers reference.
Go for it, Matt. You're good.
Okay, mass combat. Like I recall, I didn't commit it to memory enough for the show. Sorry, but I do recall seeing rules about like what happens when planets are bombarded and whatnot. So
there's planetary invasion rules. Yep.
So is there plans for like I mean, I know this is maybe too early to ask you this question, but I mean, you've been playtesting this for 5 years, so I can't imagine you didn't think about it. I mean, is there plans for expansion for that kind of thing where you shift from covert missions or like these strike forces or whatever to, okay, guys, you control the entire fleet. You're the general here. Let's do some tabletop wargaming.
Yeah, we've done fleet battles involving up to 50 ships.
Oh, really? Very
damn.
nice.
Well, that's cool.
And that took 3 hours. That
Oh.
That's not bad.
That's
not
like
bad
second
at all.
edition Warhammer 40K, where you could have like a good 1,500 point army. You're done in 3 and 4 hours. When you hit sixth edition, that would take you like 6 hours, and it was awful. Anyway,
yeah,
that's
and,
cool.
and to be clear, in that one, it was more than one engagement. Like they were fighting over a solar system, and so they were fighting not just the enemy ships that happened to be close. They were also having ships, coming in from other parts of the solar system, trying to intercept them and defeat the enemy in detail before they could really unite their forces and that sort of thing. So it wasn't just a slugfest. There was additional like tactical things happening.
So I got some real like Hammer Slammers vibes. I don't know if you guys, what's the guy who wrote those?
Was that David Drake?
I think it was David Drake. I read them when I read not all of them, some of them when I was a kid. And I
Was
just
that
got
or David Weber? I forget which.
I think it was Drake. Like I say, I was a kid, but I am curious, like, where are you for your sort of military sci-fi? What are your direct movie, book, away from games? If we're looking at the lore and everything,
Oh man,
where are you?
Thousands. I've been
I
reading
know,
sci-fi.
right?
I've been reading sci-fi for a long time. So probably my favorite one would be The Prince by Jerry Pournelle and S.M. Sterling, which is a collection. You can find it printed around 2002, 2004, somewhere in there. It's a collection of 5 or 6 of their individual novels bound together and edited to kind of make sense as a whole. And it's about a military unit that gets disbanded due to political corruption. And rather than remaining disbanded, a good chunk of that unit decides to form their own mercenary company.
Right.
And then the rest of the series is about what that mercenary company is up to. And you're often having time jumps where you actually hear about missions that you don't actually see play out, and then there are other ones where you're seeing it actually happen as you read the story. So that I've been rereading that recently. Great series. If you enjoy military sci-fi, though that one is very heavily focused on the infantry side, because they are using starships, but they're ground troops. They're not typically engaging enemy ships in that particular series.
Right.
But yeah, there's a bunch, but that's the one I think I would point out for one that I've reread multiple times that I enjoyed. I read a ton of the extended universe for Star Wars. I read a bunch of the Star Trek books. I read a bunch of like Isaac Asimov and Greg Bear and David Drake, David Weber, Eric Flint, bunch of guys. And I could not name them all. Ray Bradbury, but that, The Prince by Jerry Pournelle, S.M. Sterling. I'd recommend that. On the other hand, I would not recommend The Expanse. I have read that in the last year, the whole thing. I would not recommend the book series not because it isn't good. It is. It's pretty good. Yeah. But because it kind of has a Deus Ex Machina ending, and that's not a style I prefer. Where there's something that there's no real lead into that's kind of how the story resolves is not my preference.
I understand.
Harry Potter has the same issue, if anyone's wondering.
Chubby has actually asked 2 questions. His first one was serious, and I was going to say we should get to that. It's back up the line a little bit.
I'm looking for it.
But his second one is, Are there any international guilds for fancy whores that fly around taking appointments? I can only assume he's talking about Firefly. She is not a whore. She is a companion.
That's right. And shame on you, Chubby. Shame.
Unless you believe the captain.
We'll fight this one out in person.
But that said, no, I enjoy Firefly. This is not that. You could play Firefly with these rules, but you'd need about 30 pages of additional content. Nate and I are considering doing something like that as a supplement for civilians playing inside of this setting with this war going on and trying to scramble for resources and do delivery runs and stuff. Currently, so we are considering that. We figured it'd be about a 30 to 50 page thing to be able to do those rules. We were originally going to try to embed them in the book, actually, as like as an alternate option, but space-wise, it just wasn't going to work.
Well, and I got to tell you, Todd, I feel like there's a lot of games that do that.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, most sci-fi games are exactly what you're talking about, and then they tack on the military afterwards.
Yep.
So I mean, you know, if you want to do it, that's great. Exactly. You've chosen this path. I feel like you're doing all right.
Yeah. And I think sorry, I don't mean to talk over you, but I really do think like going military sci-fi first gives dropship an interesting and unique identity compared to, I mean, like I'm a huge Free League fan. I love the Year Zero game engine. I think it's so versatile. You know what I mean? So I started buying all these books, and I bought Coriolis, and I read it. And then I read Alien, and I'm like, why do I have Coriolis? You know what I mean? And then I'm like, I read Traveler, and then I'm like, why do I have Coriolis? Why did I spend money on this? You know what I mean? Because they're all doing that. And other than Aliens marine expansion, I mean, that's good sci-fi horror, and it's stuck to the rails. You know what I mean? It did what it did, and it stands out for that, in my opinion. Dropship is kind of in the same way. It's like, no, this is military sci-fi. So if you, I'm not going to tell you not to write something that you think you need to add to your universe, but like to Gary's point, like it really helps give what you did gives Dropship like its own like identity. So
I agree. And like I said, military sci-fi is what we wanted to write. The other thing is simply that it is possible in the existing system for you to wind up on missions where you're supporting civilians, rescuing civilians, or having civilians alongside you for specific tasks. And so for that kind of purpose, or for like supply runs and stuff, I wouldn't mind adding some civilian rules as a supplement. Possibly a free supplement, possibly a paid one. Kind of depends on if we decide to do artwork. Because other than my time and Nate's, that's the real budget killer.
Right. I got some pin stuff. Okay, so Chubby's serious question: are there any scenarios where you land to invade an enemy planet but find out that your commander had no plan for what to do?
Yes and no, because obviously the plan may not survive contact with the enemy. So it's not so much that they had no idea at all what to do, as their idea might have been stupid because of situations on the ground that have changed since the plan was made. And remember, this is a setting with a lot of fog of war because of delayed communications and long travel times. One of the reasons we did that is both to limit the size of empires, believably, and also to make it so that the characters, once they got high enough rank, had real command decisions to make, that they couldn't constantly be asking headquarters what to do. And in reverse, that the Admiralty can't be giving orders to every captain constantly, because they literally, there's not time to do it. That was important to us in terms of the genre for gameplay.
All right. And then we got a super chat from Brian, DM Cloaker. Good to see you, buddy. DMW.
Oh, thanks, Brian. There we go.
Yeah. The Brian question. I have no idea what that acronym is.
I want to read it in his voice for the nuclear war. which made everybody want to kill him. But I won't because it'll make everybody stop watching the show.
All right,
Because
beyond
he went like halfway between Japanese and African.
yeah,
I don't know what
Yeah.
fucking accent that was, dude. I
I
can't
think it
even
was supposed to
cop.
be South African, wasn't it? I don't know.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
I think
It was
that's what
halfway
Saw
between-
Gerrera is like South African but breathy. Like if Kiefer Sutherland was South African.
Yeah.
All right, so beyond Miltech force resolution and resource management, we love you, Brian. We really do. What mechanical design elements do you feel showcases tension or friction in dropship?
I don't even know if that question makes sense. For the
I don't know that it does either. You're all going to
Actually,
die. I'm going to go with that. That's if you don't act, all of humanity will be conquered or killed, or both. That's the tension.
I'm down.
And of course, certain missions you may be equivalent to enemy forces, but in most missions you will be outnumbered, and in some missions you may be outgunned as well. Like you might wind up facing enemy armor when you're infantry and you're like a squad and there's an enemy armored platoon. That's real bad.
Yeah.
I want to get to this next super chat from Mercurius, but that brings up a question because again, I only had like a quick read before tonight's show, but alien tech has its own section in the book, right? Like it's not there's human tech and then there's alien tech. So is it fair to say like the aliens, humanity's going up against has better equipment?
Yeah, in some ways. Or the aliens use energy weapons, which have upsides and downsides. Human weapons, for range weapons, are using ammunition, projectile weapons like we have now.
I prefer the term slug thrower.
Indeed. Well, the aliens' energy weapons, they, instead of using ammunition, they overheat on a natural one and then can't be used again until the end of their next turn. So they lose, depending on when it happens, 5 to 7 seconds of being able to fire before they're able to be shot again. That which can matter quite a bit for in combat. And the alien armor technology does give them some protection from physical attack, but leans towards protecting them from energy weapons. Which means for humans who have the right guns or the right swords or the right hammers or whatever it might be, you actually can get past enemy armor. And the aliens, some of them will carry melee weapons too. There are reasons to do this, as I had a group at Cabin Con last week check. Or no, not even then. I had a group on Monday. One of them accidentally blew a hole in the ship they were boarding. And suddenly there was vacuum.
Yes.
Or in the station they were boarding. And she was like, "Oh no!"
Yeah, when I was running my Alien RPG campaign a few years ago, I had a guy who wanted to play a marshal, and he had just got done binge watching Justified, so of course he wanted to play Raylan Givens. And so he's tracking down a bounty. He's on a space station. He sees the bounty. The bounty's gonna shoot him with something. So of course he draws his pistols and fires. Of course he misses. Well, what happens when you miss with a projectile weapon in a space station? Yeah, so there was explosive decompression. People were failing panic rolls. It was awesome. And my buddy with the cool Raylan Givens character had nothing but egg on his face. Real quick, $2 super chat from Mercurius. I've got Fading Suns. I don't need Coriolis. Never read that, actually. I should put that on my to-do list. Thank you, Mercurius. Let's see. Got another one from Dan. $5. I just imagined a South African Jack Bauer. Thanks so much for the mental image. Haha.
Dan, you're welcome.
One thing I will say to finish answering that question, though.
Sure.
We do have alien artifacts left over from a dead civilization
I wanted to get
can
into this,
find, specifically on Artifact Worlds or in some of their old ships, many of which are still defended by automated systems and robots. Some of which of the other aliens who are active in the setting have captured, and some of which are still unclaimed. And so there is some capacity to find particularly advanced technology that's even above what the people attacking humanity have.
I love the fact that you do have a Forerunner like concept. The Forerunner concept has sort of I don't know, tickled my imagination when I think about it, and especially when you like meditate on, are we alone in the universe, and what if we
Don't get
are
me
the
started.
Forerunners? You know what I mean? And I just love that. Yeah, I was a big fan of Mass Effect, and they had their Forerunner race and all that stuff, and that was tied into their lore. So I do.
Did
love
you see the look? We only show one.
Oh, I might have missed that actually. What page was that on? I won't show it, so it's a
Let me quick
surprise.
find it. It's actually in the Starship section, and it is. Let's see. There we go. It is on page 242 as written, or 248 if you're typing into the PDF.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Hey Todd, just so you
Interesting.
know, when we're hanging out away from the game table at North Texas,
Yeah.
I'm going to speak to every creator about PDFs and formatting. Just know, because I'm a PDF guy, and I think it's a second thought to you guys, and I'm gonna petition every single one of you to make certain changes. Matt will explain it.
Yeah.
I'm on my
He yells at
what's
me
it
too.
called, soapbox. You got a lot of people reading electronically, and sometimes your book actually works out on two fronts because it actually can be used online. There are things I can do, but there's a couple I want to nitpick everybody. Everybody's reading their books electronically. Sorry, tangent.
Actually, I can tell you that that's about, from what I can tell, that's about 1/3 of the customer base
Mm-hmm.
is
gonna
actually reading electronically. About 2/3 own electronically, but are also buying physical because they prefer to read physical or have both open.
I think
And
physical
then
is
about a
great at the
third is
table,
buying
but so is the
physical.
iPad.
I know that because of our sales on 3 different products now.
I just
Oh.
I see that market growing, and I think it's being ignored a little bit. Like the PDFs are kind of a second thought to some people, and I really appreciate people who make sure their PDFs are usable. You know,
Yeah.
I want the open book and the iPad. Sorry, super chat.
No, that's all right. It's all right. Before I get to that, I just want to say my PDF should be bookmarked. Anyway, super chat $10. Shellback, thank you very much. If you want a great military sci-fi novel, you must read Ghost Ship Derelict by David Hensley and J.R. Handley, and not just because David is my best buddy. Okay, I've never read that, but I'll put it on my to read list because as I was saying with Ben Gibson on a couple of weeks ago, I got to do better with reading for fun. I read too much legal crap. So, thank you, sir.
So, on that note, just for clarity, if anyone did not know, our PDFs do come bookmarked, but by chapter, and we tend to. I use Control F typically when I'm searching for something in a PDF, as I see Jeff does as well. Did you want to show off that piece of art, by the way, Matt?
Oh, I didn't. If I can, if you'd like.
Yeah, go for it. If you've got a way to display and like,
yes,
kind
I
of zoom
can.
on
Just
it.
give me a second.
Dan says, please tell me more about your desires for PDFs. Hey, Dan, that would take up a little bit of time. And we are here to talk about a great game that is Dropship. But I'll get to you, Dan, I promise.
All right. So there's the Forerunner, right?
Yes.
In stasis.
He is. With a failed tube next to him.
Yeah. Well, I know you're not doing sci-fi horror, but the first season of was it Love, Sex, Robots? There's a great animated short involving someone who's the humans who like jump. There's like a mistake in this jump, and they end up like 100 light years outside the galaxy, and they get caught in like this integral this space web of this psychic alien creature that tries to like implant like happy thoughts in their brains to keep them alive. And the dude finally fights back and he's like, I want to see the reality. So she lets him free and he steps out. Like his entire crew is dead because they're, things are shattered. And then he sees what she actually looks like. And it's like, absolutely, his mind shatters. It's fantastic. It's like one of my favorite little sci-fi horror shorts. Anyway,
Cool.
yeah. Oh, it's fantastic. Everyone's got to watch that. I can't remember what it's called, but it's on. It's like one of the episodes of the first season of Love, Sex, Robots. But anyway, Forerunners. We got bad guy aliens, humanity up against. This is sort of sets up this great drama for the players and their and game masters around their table. Is this the kind of setting? Because I do have to compare it to Horde Wars because Horde Wars is a very different thing. But I sort of feel like, is this the kind of setting that you might want to advance in the future? Like, oh, hey, this event happened. Here's a supplement. Here's how the universe changes. Like how number 40
in
time to time.
In that we actually would love to do an exploration of what happened to the Forerunners and who killed them. And that's a module that we would really love to do. But and again, something we'd love to put in the book, but for length reasons, we did not. Because right around the 300-page mark, a little past, your printing costs go up substantially, especially for a color book. And so it's generally not worth it to us, especially if it's going to add 20, 40 pages to include that in the book fiscally, because we would wind up jacking up the production cost significantly more than the amount of pages you would gain.
Right.
Is there, and because I haven't been able to read the whole thing, and I apologize for that, Todd, but it's a pretty thick piece of work. And
it is. So 300
it's
pages. If anyone's wondering, only 14 of those are rules.
Right. Absolutely. And that is as it should be. 14 pages of rules. Everything else fleshes those out and tells you how to break the rules and win. What I didn't see, and I'm sure you can correct me on this, is there a way, could you do something like, because it is military, could you be like a fighter pilot that eventually gets like his own squadron? Right. See, I've said this before. When I used to play the new Fantasy Flight Star Wars games, in my opinion, the best one as a GM was Age of Rebellion, which was military. Because, like I say, your players always have a focus. And when you give, for whatever reason, when you give players like a group of NPCs to lead, they love it to the point where unnamed NPCs dying will really mess them up. Like, it is amazing. So I'm glad to hear that, because that was one of my favorite Star Wars campaigns I did one time, was a group of fighter pilots.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, it's just a ton of fun, It's just a ton
now,
of
did you
fun.
guys see what we did with the medals?
I saw.
I think I'll be honest. I glanced over that.
So that's something that. So in Horde Wars, you've got a lot of magic items, right? Because of the genre, you've got these artifacts that you could find. Some of them give you boost to your stats, right? Give you boost to skills, give you boosts to attributes, hit points, what have you. What we did in Dropship is actually the medals that you earn as you're going on these various missions and adventures. The medals actually give you a bonus to your skills, and campaign ribbons can boost like your attributes or give you other bonuses. And the way that you earn them is at the end of every mission, the players vote for an MVP for the session. That person gets +1 experience point, which in this game matters quite a bit. It only takes 12 to level up. And also is assigned a medal. The game master determines which medal, and based on the skills that were used and that sort of thing.
That is a really good idea.
And just like the real military, there's a limit to how many medals you're allowed to display, wear at a time, and benefit from. Partly this is for game mechanic reasons, but literally every military on Earth, except for North Korea, has a limit. The question is, how big is the limit? And that varies quite a bit. We just made the limit based on your tier of play. If you're tier 1 characters, you can display 1 medal. If you're tier 2, you can display 2, and so on. And that seems to work pretty well. If you earn a medal more than once, the bonus improves to a +2. It doesn't improve beyond that though, because of the system math.
Right.
But can you have let's say you're tier 2, can you have like 3 medals and then just sort of decide which medals you're gonna have?
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
oh, that's cool. That's cool.
And I meant to bring this up, and one of the things that I'd like the audience to know, having played and read Horde Wars and looking at Dropship a little bit, it's a game. You know, there's a lot of games that we buy these days that just have these, hey, use this background if the judge finds something, and here's a thing you can give to your players, which has absolutely no fucking mechanical value at all and is useless.
Yep.
Dropship and Horde Wars are games. If you receive something in that game, it has a mechanical benefit or it's bad for you. There is no bullshit like, hey, here's a fun thing you can do with your players. Use your imagine. No. It is a game. The whole thing is a game. Sorry, I just had to. And I do like that about your game quite a bit. So,
thanks. No, I've had players literally use the flip lighters that they have found for tactical use. Because they found themselves underground and they didn't all have night vision, and they went, quick.
Yeah. No, I think, Todd, that is one of the things I think I like most about your game. I say that there are some games I love that are pretty loosey-goosey rules, right? There is I'm half dirty story gamer. I'm sorry. All right. I do have that in me, but I don't like the in-between, right? Like it's either going to be kind of this kind of game or it's going to be that kind of game. And the fact that you don't put anything extraneous in it. You don't put anything where it's just, when you don't have a rule for something, then everybody is vying for GM approval as opposed to a mechanical solution. And I think when your game becomes a thing of let's impress the GM and get more XP, that kind of bugs me. So anyway, good design. And I'm glad I got that out without slurring more than once. I'm going to get a new drink. Love you guys.
Thank you. Oh, with the medals as well, if you were to earn 6 or more that you decide you don't need, you can also trade them in for a promotion.
Yeah.
You'll naturally get promotions over time, but that's a way to push promotions.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really cool. So I'm more of a setting guy these days, and I'm just sort of enamored with like where you've been going with the military side of this. So
thanks. Did you catch the drama with the Grand Admiral?
Oh, I probably did not get that. No.
So basically, humanity, I mean, we are losing, and one of the reasons we're losing is we're outnumbered, we're out-teched in some ways, but partly also it's that the government is corrupt, as it may not surprise you.
Sure.
And there is no one person in charge of the military overall, and there's a back and forth about whether or not there should be, because A, it might help us fight better, and that probably is true. But B, you might risk a military dictatorship.
Right. So is that going to end up being like an inevitable thing, right? Like out of necessity, you have like the equivalent of a Grand Admiral Thrawn that just sort of like arrives. It's like, nope, screw these guys, we're done. And these guys being like the provisional, the government. And he takes off and starts cutting a swath through the galaxy in the name of humanity.
Well, there's a possibility of it. Basically, there's a mission where the head of the government, the civilian government on Earth, asks the players, as outsiders who aren't normally based on Earth, they're all fighting in other places. They get recalled to Earth, and Earth's civilian ruler asks them to arrest the number 1 Marine on Earth. Like the highest ranking one, and basically because he's plotting treason,
Sure.
he's planning to overthrow the civilian government and install another dude who may or may not know about the conspiracy as the ruler.
Nice.
Because the government isn't putting a military guy actually in charge of overall military policy, he's just like, no, we're just going to force it. And
Nice.
you have to decide what to do. Do you successfully take this guy over? And then there's procedural generation for, let's say you do take this guy out or you do capture him. What is the outcome?
Right.
There is a chance that you wind up with a Grand Admiral anyway. There's a chance that the guy who was going to get set up as the ruler actually gets run out of office, and so you actually lose a competent admiral. There's a chance. There's other possibilities as well, but that conflict is something the players could get quite involved in, depending on when they bump into it. Because it could be that the players get high enough ranking that one of them is a contender for the job.
Sure. Yeah. That's why I feel like I'm stepping in Gary's shoes here, but I sort of feel like you could in a couple years do like Horde Wars 2, 5 years later, and just like, cause it's like this, it's a war story. Wars like advance and whatnot, like, and like how, and what if you did like a public, open play, like, and
We'd love to. Nate had experience running those for Pathfinder, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I think that would be so badass because, I'm sure you've heard the story of like Legend of the Five Rings. That was like it was the card game, and then that became the backstory for the RPG. Like all that is just wild. That gets the players and your community like involved in the advancement of the story. And we're like, fantasy is myth, right? Like you can just say, here's my setting, go do your thing with it, and like build your own myths at your tables. But sci-fi is the future. It's like future history. And I just sort of feel like with what you've been laying down, and again, the fact that it's just this different thing, it's military. I think it's setting up for something kind of long term. And that's just my thought. I know if I were to run a long-term campaign, I'd be like in that mindset.
Actually, I was gonna say
what the universe is gonna look like in 5 years from now, when like the Grand Admiral does get, come into power. Like, what is that gonna do? What are the aliens? How are the aliens gonna respond to that? Like, there's just all these threads that just like open up.
Oh yeah.
I honestly, Todd, I think one of the smartest things you guys did with this game was make it military. Like, I really do, because I think it was, I really think that your focus on the military is kind of, you guys already have a grasp of rules. It is kind of like Horde Wars, but it does have this bigger scale and everything else. But putting it on that track where it's like, look, you're not fucking smugglers, you're not bounty hunters, you're not Jedis. This is the game. And I think that's great. If you choose to go back and do some other stuff for it, great. Good for, you know what I mean? Good for all those guys who wanted. But I think the military thing really worked. And especially with those rules, like I'm remembering playing at North Texas, and it was very dynamic. And that's something we can talk about, because you're getting crits on 12s, you're rolling 2d12 most of the time, I think. I don't even remember.
2 attacks,
yeah, you're getting 2 attacks, you're rolling at the same time, you're getting crits. It is, we talk a lot about mechanics, and I know that can kind of bog certain games down. And I think one of the reasons that I think in my mind I compared Dropship or Horde Wars to 4E is because 4E was a very physical, move this on the map, let's have fun, do the thing. And that is how your game feels. It is fast, it is dynamic. Your players get options for attacks and actions and everything else. So I really, I think military was great. I'm just kissing your ass now. I think military was great. And I think the rules that you guys developed, I think the D12 is really essential to that. And just in case you haven't said it on this particular show, why not D20? Why go D12? I know you've explained to me, but please explain to our audience.
So, one, D12 is underutilized. Basically, there aren't many games that use it as an important dice. Secondly, though, it let us embed certain information that would otherwise require additional steps. So, for example, for penalties, if your character is starving or dehydrated or severely lacking in sleep or exposed to radiation, instead of doing some kind of penalty, you are taking the die, the D12, and just shrinking it a die size down to a D10, D8, D6, D4. And then if you hit below a D4, you are now unconscious or dead, depending on what put you in that state. But that effect is quick. It's quick to go, okay, I'm afflicted now. I'm rolling D10s. And you immediately feel the weakness because you can't crit anymore. You can't roll a natural 12. And even if you have an impact weapon that crits on an 11 or 12, you can't roll an 11 either. And so you immediately feel weaker, even though you can still succeed. You can still do cool things. And the other thing is the D12, which we learned in playtesting, is just reliable enough at critting that players will act like they can crit when they're making their battle plans, when they're making tactical choices. They'll be like, oh, I've got this weapon that can stun an enemy if I crit. We're going to set it up so that I can try to get through and, take down this boss's action economy, basically. We want to stun him so he can't do as much stuff. Or in Horde Wars, when they're fighting a dragon, if they've got an ice mage who can just make the thing's fly speed 0 while it's midair, not reliably, but it can happen, and it happens enough that they'll try to set it up to get through his armor and go, oh, crash.
Yep. Hey, I've got one question and one statement. Statement first. My cousin Rob is watching the show. He's never watched before. Do I look like Uncle Gary with the mustache? Just checking. Okay. Second question. I forgot
Tell
the
him
second
yes.
question. Fuck, I've been drinking too much. God damn it. Sorry, Todd. I drank too much and forgot my second question. It'll come back to me in a second. All
right.
As the guy running the game, what is your tell me about your campaign right now. Tell me about if I were a GM looking to run dropship, right? And you were telling me about your campaign and how what's your selling point on that? Give me the big picture, if you will.
Sounded like two different questions. So to answer your first, my campaign right now includes multiple parties who who meet on different days to game in the same setting. They're often aiding one another. One of them got assigned, for example, to go take out a bunch of enemy shipyards around their homeworld. And the other party actually got there first, scouted it out, took out 2 enemy destroyers over by a gas giant, and then sent the information to the other party so that when they arrived, they actually had a scout team that had given them information and had actually pulled enemy forces out of position with their raid. So if that helps, that's just in the last couple of weeks. I
actually forgot you're running multiple parties. Maybe not. You're doing 1 to 12 time. Are you still?
So since it takes months to travel between star systems, yeah, you definitely would need a faster ratio than 1 to 1 time. 1 to 4, 1 to 12. If you want hard and fast timekeeping between parties, which is what I'm obviously doing with these.
Right.
And then I also ran a mini campaign over like a 4 or 5 day weekend at Cabin Con a week or so ago, and so that included, I don't know, 6, 8 games, something like that, of different characters, but they were from originally 2 separate squads that then merged and were off doing all kinds of different things. They were rescuing a scientist from a world overrun with bugs, these krill insectoids, and then they rescued the scientist because she knew the coordinates for an enemy planet. And then later on, they were kidnapping the emperor of the Freylar Empire straight out of his own palace. By gliding in at night into the central courtyard and then trying to get to his bedchamber and kidnapping him and then calling for extract. That was quite violent. That mission.
That's how it should be.
They what else did they do? They got up to all kinds of stuff. They did a mission where they fought enemy armor and enemy. I'm trying to think what else they did. They did like a sabotage mission. They did a bunch of different ones, and so my active campaigns tend to be interactive in that the parties are often affecting one another, and also tend to be pretty close together, or if it's like for a weekend type thing or for a week-long campaign, or tend to be regularly, like every Monday typically I run game, that sort of thing.
Hey Todd, you have a question from Chubby.
Mm-hmm.
Chubby, we love you. This is pretty good. What is the secret to making big money in the TTRPG space so I can travel the country and play at every convention like Todd?
So, Shelby, I think you know the secret. I've seen you there.
The Shadow Dark money.
That's like, yeah, with that, he's got sitting on that Shadow Dark pile he's got in the garage.
But no, actually, for conventions, it's a little different. So it's being able to make money at the convention. So some of them will lose money at, other ones will about break even, other ones will make money at. But overall, I think what I found the best thing to do is have a booth. Obviously, it'll be a lot harder to get sales without being able to present what you're selling, and have more than one person there. Don't just be one guy with a booth who also has to leave it and run games.
Yep.
Have 2 or 3 people there at least,
And
then run events, and also have some products that aren't yours. And that are something people can physically interact with, but that you can also sell to them. So we've done anything from potion bottles that like do this cool swirling effect that our friend Joe makes. Sometimes we've sold those at conventions. We'll sell miniatures that we buy in bulk, typically sometimes from the manufacturer, sometimes from game stores looking to unload them. And we sell them at a reasonable price, but it's something small and bright that people can go pick up, look at, play with. And when they do that, they'll talk with you about the products you actually want to sell them.
Yeah. I'm curious. Do you, and this is just a question, are you typically allowed at conventions to share a table with someone, or do they not like that?
Like where?
Could you, well, like anywhere, like could you be like, hey, I'm going to do Horde Wars and, Rob's going to do Gods of Forbidden North and we're going to share a table. Was that something they would allow?
We literally did that.
You did do that?
Yeah.
Fuck. All right. Well, good for
Yeah.
you.
Rob and Nate and I did that in Philadelphia in January.
Nice. I was just curious because I know
costs.
Well, there's a lot of guys out there publishing little things and they don't always show up. They don't have a thing. So I was also gonna go ahead.
Sorry, quick $5 super chat from Chubby. Thank you for your Shadow Dark money, Chubby.
Hey, I found our barbecue spot, Chubby. Just so you know.
Run a competent business. What kind of jackass advice is that? Thank you, Chubby.
Do you think the fact that you're selling a rule set as opposed to say adventures or expansions or anything like that, it's a higher priced item? Do you think that has anything to do with sort of your success or whatever it is at conventions, compared to the guys that are just kind of selling this and that?
Well, one of the advantages we have is that we're also we're demoing the product as well, so you can come and play it and try it and see if you like it. A lot of times, the guys selling modules aren't actually running them.
Good point. Very good.
So that would be a thing to try to do, especially if it's a module of reasonable length for you to run, or just pick a section of it. If you're Rob and you're like, yeah, I have a 1,800 page adventure.
It's just, you know, like every time I talk to Rob and we're talking about his books, I just want to hug him and tell him how proud I am. You know what I mean? Like, God,
Yeah.
like I don't even, I know that he knows he worked hard, but I really don't think he understands. Like, this thing is going to last. It's going to be around for years and years and years and years. And everybody that plays it loves it. Anyway, enough of me kissing Rob's ass. It's just,
But yeah, no, it's really good. With Chubby's question though, just overall, yes, running a competent business, that is yes, correct. But also, you want to. It's useful to talk with other vendors. Ask them what they're doing, especially ones who have been doing it for a long time. They can give you good advice, especially advice specific to the convention. If it's like a local con to them that they've been going to for a long time. And so, for example, Nate and I don't go to Gen Con, but our products have been at Gen Con for at least the last 3 years, being sold on the floor. We don't go there because Gen Con costs about 10 times what it costs us to go to another convention.
yeah.
But we've got a buddy who sells card games and some board games, and as a partner business that comes and shares his booth, and they between them split the costs, and then he's selling these other products. Well, he also, some of the guys who help him run his booth play Horde Wars. They just tried Dropship last week, but several of them ordered it, and so they should have those available at their booth. And then actually, he did some of the art for Dropship. And so,
Nice.
and so, even if they were like, "Well, you can't sell this other person's product," actually, his name's right in the book.
Hey, Tim Griffin says, why is everyone in Texas? No one ever here in Florida. Tim, it's one con. It's 3 days a year, man. It's one. I live in Texas, but Paradise in Texas.
I'll do a quick pitch for North Texas Con because I actually have to fly out there. I'm from New York, and I've been to Arnicon. I like Arnicon. In Arnicon, you're going to see a lot of the old timers and really, like, truly, the roots of D&D going on there. And Griffith Morgan is great. I love him and the work that he does. But North Texas Con, that's where you see like where the OSR and new people in the industry who are influenced by the OSR doing their thing, kind of gelling and mixing and doing things. My take after last year was all the crap that I would see on social media all of a sudden just was like, that's not real.
Yeah.
This is the industry right here. This is what people should be focusing on. I don't care what happens on Twitter. So if you're and I got to bump elbows with guys like Tenkar, that's how I got to know this cat right here, Mr. Blackwall here, So it's worth going to at least once. And you know what? We didn't have a plan last year and we still had a blast. So
that's my life. I never have a plan. I always have fun.
I want to have a plan because I'm type AAA, but I ended up having fun anyway. So it was.
You had a great time. You had a great time.
It was. Yeah.
I see some comments. So Florida, we haven't been able to find a good convention. Actually, there's a bunch of conventions, but they tend to be not focused on the kind of RPGs that we're selling, or they tend to be very, very large. And actually, large conventions are bad for us. That's one other thing to know. If you're a smaller vendor, smaller creator, we get our best sales if we have somewhere between 100 and 1,500 people at a convention. We get much less sales if there's 5,000 or 10,000 people. Why? I think it's getting lost in the noise, basically. that it's so busy that people aren't interested or aren't going to take the time to check out something that they haven't already heard of. But that's just been the reality sales wise. So we would, if we were going to do a Florida con, and we would love to, we would want a convention that is focused around actual gameplay. We don't want an anime convention. We don't want a board game convention, right? We want an RPG convention, and we would want one that is roughly to make that trip 500 to 1,500 people. That would be ideal for us, depending on pricing, of course. If the pricing is reasonable, a larger convention's fine. If the pricing's really high, then we'd have to look at we'd want some sales data from their previous year.
So as someone who's been on stage playing a lot of music for a long time, I will tell you that when anybody says do something for publicity, never talk to that person ever again. And if anybody tells you, hey, you should get a table at a big convention, you're not going to make sales, but it'll be great publicity, you might want to tell that person to fuck off. Get in where you fit in. I think the smaller conventions are great because, like you said, you get to demo to people. And at a smaller convention, and I'm sure you've noticed this as a creator, I've noticed this as a streamer, people recognize you, they walk up to you, they talk to you, you have a real connection with everybody there. And for somebody selling a whole rule set, now 2 rule sets, I think that's kind of important, and I think that's where the big conventions are missing out, is there's no real connection. It's a big shopping mall.
And I think that's one of the reasons why, because we were talking about this before we really started the stream. North Texas Con seems to be selling out quicker and quicker, and they're trying to keep it small and I don't want to say exclusive, but limited. They might have to expand. They might have to open it up and have maybe like 700-800 people or whatever. Because I think
getting dangerous.
Oh, I know. Well, but I think you're right. I think that you're right. Like, I have no interest in going to Gen Con. I have no interest in like these large where it's just vendor, and then you have like these giant rooms with all these packed tables, and it's just loud as everyone's like playing games. Like, I don't know. I just have no interest in that. And truth be told, maybe I don't know, maybe I'm biased, but my very first gaming convention was VentureCon 1 5 years ago. And it was like this small, I think there was like 25 of us hanging out, having beers, playing games, talking about games. It was great. And I love that intimate experience. And North Texas Con still provides that. Like, I bump into Tenkar. I was like, oh, hey, man, great, blah, 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 talk. And then later at the bar, I'm hanging out with my good friend Gary. Todd, you show up, and then we met Erudite DM there, and he's like, hey, you guys smoke cigars? Yeah, sure. And next thing you know, like we're it's been a year and we're like gaming now. You know what I mean? So it's that, to me, that's what I look for in a convention. And I'm looking forward for Roger Rebis. He's going to be on our show in a couple weeks to talk about Central New York Con. Cool. But that's the kind of thing I think is going to be happening more of, because I'm seeing more and more of these small cons popping up, because I think people are tired of the freaking commercialization of it all. I just think they are. And I'm curious about what Roger has to say about that, because this is going to be Central New York's second year, and first year, all intents and purposes, was a huge success. So
I had heard that. I'm planning to be there on DM Bloodworth's recommendation.
Oh, cool. Well, very good. Nice. Yeah. Hopefully I'll see you. Like I said, it's an hour and a half for me. Sadly, the timing is not good because I have more important family stuff going on. My son has got a piano recital and a baseball game all in one day. He might be playing the piano in his jersey. I don't know. We'll see how that works. But I'm going to try to get down at least on Sunday, say hi to people, maybe play a game. Might have my son in tow because he likes Shadow Dark. So, hey, if you got a Horde Wars game set up, we can play Horde Wars. So,
I think we've got one set up for Sunday. Horde Wars or Dropship. I'd have to look. What does a 4-hour session of Dropship as a TTRPG look like without combat on a scale?
Doesn't happen. I've read the rules.
I guess you could have a stealth mission where you avoid combat, get intel, and leave. I guess that could technically happen, but it's probably not what's going to happen.
I don't think that's what the game is designed for.
You're in a war. Combat is the norm.
So,
hey, Jeff knows. He's got the schedule. See that?
So, real quick,
For Central New York.
we're into that last 15 minutes, and I kind of want to ask a sort of an industry kind of thing, because you've had a pretty, I mean, for an independent creator, I think you've had a pretty good amount of success with your game. What is it that you're doing that other independent creators maybe aren't? What is it that you think independent creators should think about when they're trying to put their product together for publication? A lot of our audience is creators, right? What would you, as a general rule, like what would you say to them? What do you think's lacking now? Whatever, you know?
Play testing. Like actual play testing, where not just you run the game with your little group of friends or by yourself in your head. Not that. Have other people run your game. Ideally, without you explaining to them how to run it. Because you want to know if they understand the writing, if they can understand what to do. You want people to make characters without you explaining how to make characters. Yeah, it's good to do that for new people, but you need to test to make sure that, especially for a game system, your rules are clear to someone who's uninitiated, even with role-playing games at all. So actual play testing with a wide variety of people who know you and have been maybe gaming with you for years, but also people who are brand new either to the hobby in general or to your specific game or your specific adventure. And then taking the information learned from that and, reacting to it. If people don't understand what you wrote, rewrite it. If a rule is unintuitive, reevaluate if that's a good idea, or if you have a special rule to explain this one ability and the rule only exists for that ability, get rid of it. That was a bad rule. Not because you can't have boutique rules, but because when you have beyond a certain number, which is roughly 3 or 4 in a game, if you're past that in boutique rules, people will not remember them. They'll either A, not remember there's a special rule at all, or B, they'll remember there's a rule and have to look it up constantly. That's just not good design.
Right.
And so those things mostly. I mean, color art's also good as far as it's expensive, but it's good in terms of getting people who aren't normally into RPGs to check out your book. It is.
I need to look at a book. I need to, even though I love RPGs, if I'm going to spend hours in a book, I have to like how it looks. Like there's an aesthetic appeal. You know what I mean? I really think that most indie guys should really think about that. But this wasn't my question. It's your question, Todd. What would you do?
I told you.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then, I mean, layout wise, I guess would be the other thing, which you kind of were getting at. You want what you write to be readable. So maybe don't use parchment color and brown ink. That's going to be hard for people to read, that pairing. Also, if you're going to print it, probably don't make it a black background and white text. That looks great on the screen. It's not usually going to print well unless you've got a very good printer.
That reminds me of a Lamentations project. Not that I did, but someone else did.
I mean, there's a few
it didn't review well,
but a lot of times you get like some ink bleed, and it kind of ruins the effect.
Yeah, I think they used like a Courier new like typeset, so it kept the things thin, and I think it actually worked, if memory serves. Um, what I didn't like about that product is that it used that heavy metal, like jagged lightning lettering for the
Oh,
title, and you couldn't fucking read it.
yeah.
I still don't remember what it's called. It's like the Black Room, the Dark Room, or something like that. But yeah, no, you're right. Um, I'm guilty of that actually. I did a Shadow Dark a couple years ago, a Shadow Dark game jam. Oh, it was the first iteration of Return of the White Wizard, which you can find here. Um, but I
Shill, baby, shill.
but I when it was like 3 pages, whatever, so it was black, white, and blah da 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 da. It's now a 37-page adventure. But yeah, I agree with you. Like, don't get too cute about the presentation unless it's done like perfectly. You know what I mean? Like, if you're gonna do the parchment thing, it's got to be done well. You can't just like half-ass it. So
I keep waiting for, I asked this question to creators a little bit, like, what would you do? What would you tell other creators and everything? And I'm waiting for somebody to say, stop making your shit too busy. Stop using parchment color with an image on the back. And you know what I mean? Like, some guys are just so, don't give me more. Give me attractive and then give me good writing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Too much can be too much. And I think some of the guys who are newer at this, and I don't want to call anybody out. I don't want anybody to stop creating. Just cool down a little bit. Go look at the books you really love. They do have some stuff going on, but they're not just drenched in fucking AI bullshit. Sorry, I'm drunk.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give you an example that's old enough it shouldn't offend anybody. The Rules Cyclopedia. The decoration at the bottom is so busy, it's hard to find the page number.
Yeah. The page number gets
That's
lost.
a bad design.
Yep.
The book's
And then
great.
you
I
have,
enjoy it.
oh yeah,
The bottom section, it's a problem.
and then you have
me and Matt
font
fight
is
all the
so
time.
small, and it's like 3 columns. It's kind of
Yep.
hard to read.
I would rather have all of the Beck Me box sets than work from the encyclopedia or whatever the fuck. That thing is so hard to look at. So hard to look at. Like, it's just, and I know it's me. I know a lot of guys are like, I just want the technical. Give me the rules. I don't need anything.
I really like
need
it
to
as
be
a product,
entertained.
but the specific design issues with the 3 columns and more importantly, finding page numbers on the page. It's in the same spot. It shouldn't be hard to locate. But the way that they put all that extra ink and decorations at the bottom, it is visually hard to see the page number in some cases.
Right. And I understand the argument. I do understand the argument for guys who like really like straightforward plain shit, right? Like, they're like, I just need the rules. I don't need anything else. I don't know, man. Like,
no, I'm Gary. There was a time where I didn't agree with you at all on principle on this issue, but over time, like, you're right. Like, this this is something that's more than just a rule set. This is something that's supposed to entertain you as you're reading, to engage you in with whatever it is this is supposed to explain to you. So, like, if this is about horror, hopefully what you're looking at is horrific and all that stuff. If this is a military sci-fi game, what you're looking at better make you feel like you're, getting involved in a military sci-fi game. And you're right, Gary. You're right. I want everyone to mark this down on your calendar. May 9th, 2026. Lord Mattias said Gary Lewis is right. Okay? Right.
Everybody knew it, Matt. You're the last to figure it out, motherfucker. You are the fucking last to figure. I love you, man. But occasionally, if it's not written down in a fucking book somewhere that somebody else wrote, you don't believe it. I'm telling you, the aesthetic counts, because it's just, listen, I'm going to get to, okay. You ever read comic books? You're working 2 parts of your brain. You've got the image and you've got the language, right? You've got the art and you've got the math. And when you are reading a role-playing game rule book or whatever it is, those images that are in the page guide you on what your game's supposed to look at. Sorry, or what your game's supposed to feel like, look like, what the creators were thinking when they were doing that. Goddamn, Chubby, I love you.
That we haven't had a chubby quote in a while. That'll go on a t-shirt.
It should go on a t-shirt. I'll see you at North Texas. Gary was right all along. That'll be better than the other t-shirt where Gary says, kill their dog, kill their friend. I don't care.
Yeah.
Oh, anyway. Well, look, Todd, thank you for being here. I know we're about to wrap up. I think
thanks for having me.
Yeah, I know that you guys, and we might want to plug this, you have a pretty good community at your server, your Discord server where people are playing and there's different GMs, correct? I know that Horde Wars was going really strong for a while. I'm assuming there's something going on with dropship. So
I'm personally delaying that until I get done with a bunch of these conventions. But I've got a few things on the books, and other customers are welcome to run things on there. And we for the Discord server, we tend to send you an invite when you place an order. The only exception right now has been for physical orders of the dropship book, because we are waiting until we actually ship it to you to send the invite, since it won't be particularly helpful if you don't have the game rules for you to come on and try the game.
Word.
But if you buy the PDF, you get an invite, and you will get an invite with the physical orders just once we're ready to ship out those pre-orders, which should be in, about 6 weeks or so, hopefully.
6 weeks, physical copies are coming out, and those can be ordered from your website, or is that your?
Yeah, you can do a late pre-order right now. Original pre-orders were $50 a book. Currently, the late pre-orders are $60 because that will be the standard price, because shipping has gone up, printing costs have gone up, and that's just the reality. Those aren't prices we can control. In fact, in the last 10 days, our shipping prices went up 8%.
Oh yeah. I don't want to get political. Anyway, I got shit to say. I don't know if you guys have noticed. It's the last thing I'm going to say. It's the last thing I'm going to say. Then I'm going to go away. I'm going to stop. But in the last 3 months, we have documents proving the Illuminati and UFOs are real, and nobody gives a fuck. Whatever. I'm out.
All right. How do I follow up with that? From that,
you can't.
No, I can't. Well,
I have a follow-up.
Oh, go ahead.
George Washington names the Illuminati in a handwritten letter that you can read today from that period.
Does he mention
and specifies how they are successfully taking over the European lodges of the Masons and have not yet taken over the American ones. And if you bother to read Thomas Jackson's letters, which are on file, I think, with the Virginia Military Institute still, you can look at on their website. You'll find that he wrote something similar, but talking about how all the European lodges had fallen and it was starting to spread to the U.S. So if you think that's like a conspiracy theory, I mean, in a sense, for the modern era, yes, but as a historical matter, there was a specific group of guys who were doing a particular thing at a particular time called the Illuminati. That's historical fact. That's my follow-up.
Hey, you know what, Todd? Thank you for having my back. I'm telling you, there is shit. All you working stiffs that are out there every day earning, we got anyway. Thanks for being here, Todd. Dropship is going to be a wonderful game, and I can't wait to play it in North Texas.
Yeah, I'm excited. That'll be good.
Yes, Todd, thank you so much for taking your time and joining us here. I linked to Blackwall Games in the description of this stream, and I would been posting it in chat, so you guys can go check out his games. Next week, it's going to be a chill stream. Boy, do we need one, because we've just been interviewing left and right. We're going to be talking about the dungeon tuber space. You had guys like Tenkar and Joe the lawyer and Joe Block talking about Greyhawk Grognard, talking about all the dungeon tubers leaving and what it means for the dungeon tuber space. And I thought it would be a good idea to actually have a conversation with all you about it. So that's what we're going to be doing next week.
And I fully expect that conversation to go off the rails.
Oh, it will.
35, 40
No,
minutes.
it will. It totally will. But at least it'll get us talking, right? Like
Yes,
that's,
sir.
That's
Yes,
the point
sir.
of a conversation. So, but anyway, Todd, thank you for being here. Oh, one last super chat, $5, Mercurius. Thank you, sir. I come here for the talk about the Illuminati, UFOs, and ancient aliens.
I'm here for the chicks, bro. Whatever.
I would direct you
Thanks,
to
your
a
trumpet.
stream we had a few weeks ago if you really want to get crazy.
Oh God, you think my little spat at the end was something? Go.
Yeah. Anyway,
yeah.
With that said, folks, our watch has ended. Thank you so much. We'll see you next week. Have a great weekend and a blessed weekend and a happy Mother's Day for all y'all with wives and kids and all that shit.
Yeah.
So we'll see you. Take care.
Have a good night.
Night, guys.
Tabletop Tavern, $2 super chat. I'm not going anywhere. Thanks, man.